Am I the idiot for letting my mom go nuclear on her sister's family and causing collateral damage? Important context. I'm getting married this summer. Only invited people both me and my fiancé know well. There are no plus ones and only named invitees. So some new partners aren't invited, but long-standing ones we know well are. My male cousin took offense to this. He has been with his gal just over 6 months. We have never met her. I grew up with this cousin, was quite close, though we don't see each other that often now due to job demands. He told his mom, my auntie, when he received the invite, tell her I'm not going if isn't. My auntie told my mom, who told me. I reached out to him after some Reddit advice asking to talk, got left on read. Texted a few days later, just let me know when works for you as a reminder, left on read. When it became clear I wasn't gonna get a response, I texted, I'm really sorry if your feelings have been hurt. I'd love us to be able to talk about it and come to an understanding. Nothing, so I left it. So last week, the RSVP deadline approached. This cousin is one of 6 older bro and sis, one younger sis, who is a bridesmaid aged 15 and number twin bras. I sent his older brother again, a cousin I've been really close with, a gentle reminder to worst. He replied straight away saying, oh yeah. I then asked if his bro was Okas, hadn't heard from him. Then this cousin launches into a whole rant about how he is totally on his brother's side. I've really upset him, that if his brother isn't going, neither is he and his gaff of 10 years. I was distraught. Sent screenshots to my mom, who was trying to calm me down, and said forget about it. If they don't want to come, that's on them. Then I started thinking, will older sis come? She was the only one on that side of the farm to RSVP so far and said yes. So again, I sent a text saying hi, just wanted to double check. I've heard cousin A and B aren't coming because we can't invite cousins GF. As you've already RSVP'd, I just wanted to check you're coming even if they aren't. To which I got a similarly upsetting reply about how horrible I'd been not inviting her. She's totally on her bro's side, but still wanted to come to see her little sis be a bridesmaid. I'd kept it together all day, but I erupted in tears. Sent screenshots to my mom, who replied saying she is absolutely raging and is uninviting the entire lot of them and not to engage with them. The older female cousin texted my mom to grow up. I got sent home from work on compassionate leave, a mess. My dad picked me up. So here's where I take the MBTA. My female 15 cousin, who has no involvement, will now have been told from her mom she's not a bridesmaid, not going, and I feel so bad. I love her and she's done nothing wrong. She was excited to be one. I was thinking about reaching out to say, as far as I'm concerned, she can still be one. But in truth, I don't think her mom would let her anymore, and it just feels like completely unfair collateral damage. But this is really hanging over me. Am I the idiot? Edit number 1. So everyone seems to be passing judgment on whether or not I was wrong to not invite my cousin's girlfriend. Which was not the point of the post. If you would desperately like to pass judgment on that, please see my previous Am I the Idiot post and go crazy. I am really just wondering what Reddit thinks about the situation with my little cousin. Edit number 2. I messaged my cousin and I don't know if I feel better or worse. I just feel apprehensive. I told her any choice is absolutely ok, and she doesn't even have to reply to me if she doesn't want to. I told my mom, and she thinks I shouldn't be contacting any of them, including her, as she's a child, but it's been playing on my mind all week. My mom said she knows how this works, and it's never straightforward, so as advised, I don't reply to any messages from any of them and don't reach out. But I felt so bad about my little cousin. You're the idiot, and with the level of emotions you've injected into this, I feel sorry for your future husband. You knew exactly what you were doing sending those screenshots to your mother, and you chose short-term emotional gratification, getting to feel like you won because they're uninvited from the most beautiful day in wedding history, over long-term emotional stability. You're the idiot. There has to be more than just your cousin getting mad at you and is not talking to you. Your mother must have been stirring up the pot without you even knowing, and you allow that to happen. Your mother disinvites all of your cousins, and you still want your 15-year-old cousin to come. Do you think her mother is going to be okay with her 15-year-old daughter coming to a wedding she's not invited to? Was she wrong to shortlist her wedding? Let me know in the comments. Now, am I the idiot for telling my wife's best friend to stop telling our kid he's their uncle? Background. Me and my wife have a 3-year-old Tommy. My wife has a friend named Stevie. She's known him since high school, and they are very good friends. I have 3 brothers. My wife has 1 sister. Stevie means well, but he's never been good with boundaries. He lives nearby, so sometimes we'll pop in unannounced. Before anyone insinuates anything, he's gay. There's nothing romantic between them. Most of the time he's alright around Tommy, but something that really grinds my gears is that lately he's been calling himself Uncle Stevie to Tommy and uses that word all the time. We're trying to teach Tommy what words mean in family relationships. Since he has 3 bio-uncles and Isiel's husband, as an uncle I've asked him to stop that, so he learns what uncle means. My wife agrees and has asked him to stop many times, including a pretty intense argument about it. Probably more about his undermining her/us than the word, but she hates it too. Oseo can go right back to it. I don't care if he wants a nickname, but we are trying to teach our kid vocabulary, and it's confusing him. My wife agrees and has asked him to stop repeatedly, but when he doesn't listen, she just says whatever. Then the next time he'll come over, the whole thing starts again. Yesterday he came over unannounced again and did the same thing, and we kind of got into it. My wife says I'm overreacting, and even though it bothers her too, maybe I should just get over it. Maybe she's right, but it really annoys me, admittedly more than it probably should. Am I just being an odd here? Lots of people are commenting about how common it is to call family friends uncle/aunt. I have no problem if other people want to do that for their families. My wife and I grew up where we only use those terms for actual family members, and we have chosen that's how we want to raise our kid. I have nothing against how other people choose to raise theirs, but this is a decision we made together. You're the idiot. I work with young children, and obviously teaching them these words is important. But I think your reasons for telling this person not to call themselves uncle are stupid. Your 3-year-old will come to understand there are nuances to the words we have assigned to different family members. My mom's best friend was always called my aunt as a young child, and surprise, surprise, I still know what an aunt technically is. Not the idiot. Lots of people refer to close family friends as aunt or uncle. Yes, it can be confusing to young children, but they figure it out before they would be asked to draw a family tree at school. That said, it should be the parents that confer the nickname, not the friend. Especially if that friend has been asked to stop, but then continues. It is a reasonable boundary if both parents agree. But it sounds like your wife is less firm on this, so it may be a spouse issue, not a friend issue. Is it weird to call a non-family member aunt or uncle? Let me know in the comments. Now, am I the idiot for asking stepdaughter to move out? This is an ongoing issue going on in my home. I am female 33 and am currently pregnant with my first child. I live in a 2-bedroom home with my husband and stepdaughter, 23-year-old female, stepdaughter, and I get along fine, no big issues, but we also are not super close. Now that the baby is coming, we need more space. Unfortunately, we can't afford a new home. I brought up my husband asking stepdaughter to move out. My reasoning is that we really need her room for the new baby, and she is an adult with a full-time job, so it is time for her to be on her own anyway. My husband agreed, and we brought it up to her at dinner one night. We told her we would help with her first 2 months' rent. I told her it would be fun, and I could go shopping, and I will help her decorate her new apartment. We tried to be as gentle as we could, but she was very quiet. Privately, she told my husband that even though she has a full-time job, she cannot afford to live on her own. My husband told her she did not need to move out, so now we are scrambling trying to find space for a new baby. The other day, I was home alone with stepdaughter and tried to talk to her about it again. I offered to help her find a roommate, and she snapped on me. She snapped on me and told me to just leave her alone and locked herself in her room. When my husband got home from work, he was mad at me and told me to leave her alone and not bring it up anymore. Things have been awkward and uncomfortable since making my pregnancy very stressful. She is 23, old enough to be on her own. She has a job, and we are willing to help her. We need space for our baby. I do not see how I am in the wrong here. You're the idiot. You're barely a decade older than your stepdaughter. Leave her parenting to her actual parents. Secondly, yes, she's behaving badly towards you. You're trying to kick her out of her home. Thirdly, have you any idea of the economic fuckery going on in the world today? Completely unsurprising that a full-time job cannot cover expenses. Not the idiot. She is 23 and perfectly capable of living by herself, even more with the help you offered. Finding a roommate sounds like a reasonable solution, but honestly, it should be your husband's job to make that happen before your baby arrives. Is it wrong to kick her out? Let me know in the comments. Now, would I be the idiot if I went to my mom's wedding knowing it means my brother won't attend? I'm male 24. I'm estranged from my brother, male 20, for reasons that are my fault. Extended bullying on my end when we were kids. He went no contact with me when I moved out for college, and in those years without contact, I realized how wrong my behavior was and started therapy. I've since expressed my remorse and desire to make amends to my brother, but he's declined any further contact. For family events in the years since he went no contact with me, we've sort of traded off. He'll go to one thing, I'll go to the next. But my mom is getting remarried in the fall, and obviously, she wants us both to be there. I've told my mom that I'll do whatever I can to make it possible for both of us to be there. If he doesn't want to talk to me at the event, I'll do my best to make myself scarce when he's around. But it's looking increasingly like my brother will choose not to attend if I'm there. My therapist wants me to stand my ground and go anyway, but I'm feeling really guilty about it, especially since the estrangement is entirely my fault. My brother has good reasons for not wanting to see me. I'm remorseful now, but for many years in our childhood I treated him terribly. I feel like choosing to go is sending him the message that I'm more important to the family than he is. You're the idiot. For the bullying alone, and depending on the type of bullying, that's how much of an ah. Without the bullying history, this would be an easy choice. It's Mom's wedding. Mom wants both of you there. You can't both be there if you don't attend, so obviously you attend. However, it's your brother's trauma. You might not be able to attend if you're there. Then again, we don't know the extent of the bullying or how old you were as kids when it happened, and if he's punishing you for normal sibling stupidity. You're the idiot. Your actions have consequences. It does not matter that you want to make amends. He doesn't. You bullied him for an extensive amount of time. You knew what you were doing, and yet you didn't stop. It took you leaving for college for him to have any sort of respite from your harassment. Should the brother skip the wedding? Let me know in the comments. Now, am I the idiot for no longer accepting calls from the previous owner of my house? My boyfriend and I bought our first home from an elderly couple in January of 2022. Initially, I kept in contact with one of them, let's call her Barb, in the event that we might receive some of their mail or something. Contact was very occasional and was always something along the lines of asking if I received a package of hers or that she wanted to mail us a key that she found that went to the lock on our shed. Months after we moved in, around early October, we received some dining chairs in a box addressed to Barb. A day or two later, a repeat of the exact same shipment arrived. I attempted to contact Barb, but my calls would not go through. A few weeks later, I came home from work and my BF, who frequently gets home before me, told me that he was starting to feel guilty about the situation and asked me to follow him to our garage. Apparently, packages containing furniture and decor had been coming regularly for weeks, and we now had a garage full of boxes that were not addressed to us. My boyfriend had been storing the boxes and assuming the shipments would stop, but they continued. We doubled down and tried harder to contact Barb with the help of other neighbors. We finally got in touch with her and she explained that she had lost her phone, and that was why I was unable to contact her for some time. I explained the situation to her, and she gave me permission to open some of the items so I could describe them to her. She then told me that she had not ordered any of the items. It turns out that prior to moving, Barb had a friend of hers help her order furniture for her new home as she can't see well and was having trouble navigating the furniture website. This friend used her own computer to order Barb's things as a favor. I immediately became concerned that Barb was being robbed, and I urged her to contact her bank first and then her friend second. Barb let me know days later that the charges were not fraudulent. It was a simple case of forgetting to change the shipping address, and the friend wanted to set up a time to come pick up her furniture from me. I explained that myself and my BF work a lot, and I wanted to set up a time when I wouldn't be home alone. I don't know this person, and I couldn't lift half of the furniture by myself to move it anyway. I began receiving calls from Barb and her friend day and night, asking me to find the time to let them collect the items. After a few weeks, my BF and I finally had a weekend off together. I messaged both Barb and her friend with a date and time, and received no reply from either person. By the first of the year, still nothing. I began receiving calls again at the end of January, after we had already gotten rid of most of the items since we had not heard back. I have not been answering the calls. It has been over a year that we have lived here and several months since we received the furniture. Am I the idiot here? Edit. I was not home when any of the items were delivered. I work long hours. I waited 3 months prior to getting rid of the stuff with no contact from Barb or her non-elderly friend. I did not have an address for either individual. The much younger friend is the actual owner and order of the items, not the elderly woman. She failed to change the shipping address after ordering items of her own months after she helped Barb order furniture. The elderly woman was not out any money because of this, but her friend it is, and I understand that makes me an idiot. Additionally, I did not sell any of the items. I gave some away and threw away others. Last, Barb is the one who has called me twice this month. I have not heard anything from the friend who is the actual owner of the items. You're the idiot. Based on what you wrote, they wanted their items, and it sounds like you made it next to impossible to pick them up except one brief weekend. When they immediately didn't reply, you disposed of everything. You're the idiot. This sounds suspicious. Why did your BF keep packages that don't belong to y'all? Why didn't you know about it? Why was he feeling guilty? Why show concern about her possibly being robbed by a friend but yet turn around and do almost that, after agreeing to an exchange? So many holes in this story. I have a lot of questions and a bad feeling.